Okay, so this talk is, well, in the group, I'm going to do an activation where we will practice doing prophecy. So I love activations. I don't. But I want to do one though. Gets me outside my comfort zone, and that's great because to piggyback on the last talk, getting ourselves outside of our comfort zone, being more selfless than selfish, is a component of recovery. So the last talk that Pastor Jamie gave at church went hand in hand, remarkably, with the last talk that I did. He talked about having your eyes open and just seeing people. How you can walk your first couple days of vacation, for instance. He gave an example of being in San Francisco. You just see all the homelessness. You see all the need. But over a couple days of being on vacation in San Francisco, before long, those homeless people and the people in need just turn into peripheral stuff, and then you're able to go on with your vacation and start seeing the sights. They just become invisible. And if you live in the city, you may have experienced that yourself. So Jamie gives a easy to remember parameter. He gives easy parameters about what prophecy is. It's to lift people up, edify people, and to encourage them. So when you just see people in public, we do that all the time. Like if you see somebody who has a cool shirt, be like, man, I like your shirt. You just prophesied according to those parameters of lifting people up, edifying, and encouraging. So the activation is seeing people's physical, natural appearance and prophesying just based off of what we see. Like their, what are they wearing? Hairstyle, mood, disabilities, tattoos, jewelry. Like it's not an awkward, weird thing to be like, man, I like your tattoo. Bam, next thing you know, they're telling you what it's all about. And, you know, there's an opportunity for prayer. Be like, man, that's a cool tattoo. That's awesome. He's like, yeah, it's about this, and this. Man, that's awesome. Can I pray for you? Man, it's not an awkward thing. 9 times out of 10, they're going to be like, yeah, dude. Or, man, I like your necklace. You know, anything. Hairstyle, I like your hair, you know. Boots, I like your boots. Those are cool. Yeah, my boots. And just be like, yeah, they're, you know, just transition into, you know, yeah, I like your boots. You got some style, man. Yeah, hey, can I pray for you? You know, it's not, doesn't have to be awkward. Just leave the prophesy parameters as lifting people up, edifying them, and encouraging them. That's prophesying. You tell people you like their hair all the time. It's not that big of a deal. So, what can we tell about a person from their physical, natural looks? Can we tell by the wrinkles if they smile a lot or frown a lot? We can see if they're well groomed or not. We can tell if they look good or they just don't care. You know, whether or not they're kind of sloppy or, you know, put together. Maybe they have buttons of their family. Like, bam, that instantly tells you an awful lot about the person. How can we lift them up, edify, and encourage them based off those physical, natural things we see? What can we say about someone that smiles a lot? Like, we can just, like when we're talking to them, even like, say we've encouraged somebody or whatever by saying, man, I really like your jacket, that's cool, and they're just all smiley. You just know that that's their personality. how can we prophesy? How can we transition from, hey, I like your jacket, to something about their smile that we're noticing? Compliment their smile. Be like, man, I like your jacket, and they're all smiley, in that moment. Just be like, man, your smile could light up a room, bam, you just prophesied over them. Tell them they light up the room. Just go for it. Then transition to, can I pray for you? And then just lift them up and that. Be like, man, just God bless them, Lord. Increase their brightness, Lord, even more than it already is. Let their brightness overflow everyone's cup, just go into it. How about a frown? Could we prophesy about somebody's frown? So this has to be paired up with something that you're complimenting, that's usually the starters, like what are they wearing, their clothes, something you compliment. Like, man, I really love your hair. But they're kind of like, yeah, thanks. But they're kind of frowny, kind of. How could you turn that into an edifying, encouraging, and uplifting prophecy? Well, like, man, I really like your hair. And they're kind of grumpy, but they're like, yeah, cool. Be like, man, I can tell that you have compassion for people. Because a frown. What does that tell you about somebody if they're all frowny? Man, they feel, right. They probably have a lot of empathy for people, so they have compassion, right? You tell that to somebody that's frowning, and they probably don't get a compliment on their frowny nature that often. So they're like, man, I can tell you got compassion for people. Like you really care for people. I just have a feeling that if you say that to somebody, they're going to open right up and tell you somebody that they're caring for. And then that's easy to transition into prayer right there. What about if somebody's groomed well or looks good? Like, man, I really like your snappy shoes, man. Those are fire. Man, I can tell, you're just, like, well organized, and you're a real true leader, whatever, Like that's what I get out of somebody that's well groomed and put together. They're a leader, they're organized, they really got their stuff together. So encourage them and lift them up like that by telling them that you think that about them. What about somebody that's not groomed well? How could you lift somebody up like that? Like, if there's something that you can compliment them on, be like, man, I really like your jeans, man. Those are cool jeans. But they're kind of frumpy, like, right? What kind of how could you lift up somebody like that? Well, I would think maybe they're free, like they enjoy life to the fullest. They got their priorities straight, right? Like they're not busy, like worried about the details. They're just out living life, So, somebody with buttons is easy, right? Like, they love their family, they're caregivers. Man, you draw attention to somebody's buttons with their family and stuff on their buttons, like a grandkid or something on the sports team or something. Man, that just lights them right up. So yeah, compliment the physical natural that you see. Maybe they share something, ask to pray. It's not weird. You have them in the palm of your hand after you compliment somebody. Kind of like, so I have this theory, right? If you compliment your boss, he skips right over the idea that you might be buttering him up. He goes, or she goes, that thought never even enters their brain. Like you're complimenting me? I'm being complimented? Like, people love that. Like, so when you're complimenting somebody, they're butter. Like, you can prophesy and minister and pray for somebody and edify them, lift them up, and encourage them. So yeah. But what does this have to do with recovery? Like I said, last talk was about getting outside yourself, being selfless, stepping outside your comfort zone, helping somebody out in need. You know, it just, addicts in general are very self-focused. So just living your life less self-focused goes a long ways towards recovery. So like, set a goal for every day. Every day you're going to bless somebody. Whether it's even just a hello and a wave, right? But if you can bless somebody by prophesying over them, encouraging them, lifting them up, and edifying them, that's 365 people a year if you do it once a day. I know when I wasn't sober, before I was a born again Christian, I didn't bless anyone. 0 times a year. I was always looking to find an advantage, to steal or whatever, right? I was intentional about looking around to see what I could take advantage of. Constantly on the search, always vigilant and aware of what I can do for myself. So if we just flip that and we're always walking around intentional about how we can bless somebody, man, that's awesome. So 1 Corinthians 14:31, for you call all prophesy one by one. Wait, let me try that again. 1 Corinthians 14:31, for you can all prophesy one by one so that all may learn and all may be exhorted. 1 Corinthians 13:9, for we know in part and we prophesy in part. So that's the talk. And at this point in the meeting tomorrow, I'm going to have people partner up and prophesy using what I just taught, just compliment somebody's jacket or hair or whatever you want to compliment on them that you think's appropriate, and find some physical characteristic that sticks out to you and edify them, encourage them, and lift them up, and let that flow into prayer. Easy peasy.